ever eaten moldy chocolate?
The tardigrade?
I'm Jasmin.
Swear on Satan, I'll do that.
That's my headcanon.
Okay, into it, all of it. I'm Mells. I love it. Dumb.
Wait a minute.
And if you're watching TV,
I love it. Make sure it's damn fine TV.
This is amazing.
That was awesome. Oh my God. Okay.
Reminding you that my vagina has a monologue now, okay? I'm Jay.
And running for mayor of Pound Town, I'm Mells.
Welcome to Damn Fine TV's Yellowjackets rewatch.
This week we're covering season 1, episode 6. So let's buzz.
Buzz. Okay, really quick up front. We're recording this the Monday after the trailer dropped because they dropped the trailer for season 2 on Friday the 13th. Mells, you haven't really been on Instagram lately, so let me tell you the fuckery that these people did on their Instagram.
Oh.
They started a live, like the Yellowjackets Showtime account. They started a live video, okay, at about actually, I don't even know the time. Let's just say it was like 10:30.
Okay.
And it was just a video of a candle burning. And you could tell it was in like some sort of cabin or something, probably evoking the cabin that's in the show. And the candle's just sitting there burning. There's like background noises, like creaky doors, wind. And then every so often there would be a little bit of the score coming through. And after like 5 minutes, I was like, whoa, what is this building to? Like, this is going to be insane. I didn't know that the trailer was going to drop. I thought it was going to be like cast members show up. I didn't know.
Right.
Then 15 minutes went by and I was like, what the fuck is going on? We are just watching a candle burn. 20 minutes goes by. And to be fair, I'm doing other stuff at the same time because by this time I realize you're in for the long haul here, bud. So you better like distract yourself.
Strap in.
So then I see the account comment less than an hour now. And I'm like, excuse me? I've been watching a candle burn for 20 minutes and you're telling me, don't worry, just less than an hour now. So these people live streamed a candle burning for an hour and then dropped the season 2 trailer. And I got to tell you, by the time the season 2 trailer came on, I was like, this has got to be the best trailer I've ever seen. Or like, what did I just do with an hour of my life? Right. It's a trailer.
Uh-oh. Dun. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm like so not here for this social media tactic. It's a no from me, Yellowjackets, okay? I just have to say that. It's such a disappointment.
Well, that sounds very frustrating.
Super frustrating.
I mean, I guess, like, are you building up the anticipation? But I mean, like, also, I don't know, like, what's the point?
I don't know. I really didn't get the point of doing it for an hour. Like,
right.
I think even at 15 minutes, I was like, this is like, I'm so intrigued. What is this building to? But that turned into like, I felt like a child that was overtired and needed a nap. Like, it was beyond the point of interesting at that point. But anyways, so
basically it was like when you put the fireplace, the Yule log, like on when you have like for a dinner or whatever, like you put that YouTube like loop of the Yule log on and you just have it as background.
Essentially. I mean, the candle did like the flame went down, the wick was burning. So there was progress, but like I can sit at home and watch a candle burn myself, and it's not that interesting.
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, so, like it's not. I mean,
but all that to say, we're still gonna watch the trailer, break it down. That's gonna be a Patreon exclusive video. So if you want to see me maybe eat my words and love the trailer in the end after we break it down, you'll have to come to patreon.com/damnfinetv.
Yes, and I want to watch the trailer so bad. I haven't watched it yet, and I'll tell you why. Because I kind of want to do a live reaction, but I don't know. Like, based on what I know that you've told me, maybe I need to watch it, and then maybe I need to like watch it for the second time when we do our breakdown, if that makes any sense. Because I've seen some things here and there. Like I saw this random photo and I clicked out of it really quick because I was like, I mean, I just don't want to be spoiled about a lot of things. But I saw like Christina Ricci and Elijah Wood. And I was like, so is
Yeah.
Elijah Wood gonna be in season 2? Like, I haven't looked up anything. I don't
Gotcha.
like, I know just bits and pieces about who adult like, I know who adult Van is, and I'm very excited about that because I love this actress. But I've been really trying to not go into too much because it's like, well, we just did a trailer, like, breakdown not too long
Mhm.
ago on our Patreon, and the whole thing is, like, you get like, trailers can give away too much or, sometimes they're not done very well, and that disappoints me, and I wanna stay excited for season 2. You know what I mean by
Yeah.
that?
Well, I will say that I do I do think the trailer was good. It just wasn't worth the buildup, is all I'm saying. I don't think there's any show that could have made that worth it. Maybe apart from Twin Peaks, but that would
Mhm.
have like years of speculation and anticipation like bolstering it. Whereas this is just like we
Right.
already know it's coming. This isn't a surprise.
I mean, I
So
would watch a stoplight for an hour if it was Twin Peaks, you know what I mean?
correct. Yes. Yeah. But that's the only thing,
Right.
So it wasn't worth that. But it was good in terms of like it didn't give away a lot, I don't think.
Mhm.
Perhaps it will when we break it down, but that's for the breakdown.
Okay.
We shall
Oh,
see.
very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yes. But we still have a whole half of season 1 to cover. So let's get into the second
Ooh,
half with episode 6.
let's get into it.
You
Want
want
me
to do
to
that
read this one?
summary? Yeah, go for it.
I'll do it. Okay, cool. Okay, episode 6, Saints. So back in 96, the Yellowjackets are getting hangry and horny. A couple of them are feeling holy, for Jesus, that is. And Shauna is downright hopeless. In the present day, there's blackmail and brunch and a little bamboozling on Misty's part. Plus, we get a glimpse into a pivotal moment from Lottie's childhood.
Yes. I have
Oh,
definitely been waiting for this
me
episode
too.
for this opening scene. I have a lot to say about it, but this is a solid episode. I think I like it in a different way than I liked episode 5 because I know I
Mhm.
really liked that one, but I still enjoyed this episode. Like the Lottie stuff is super intriguing. 96 Natalie had one of my favorite reactions ever to anything, and was pretty deep in my feels with the Shauna and Tai stuff. And then, even in present day with the Shauna in Jackie's room, like little sequence that was pretty sad too. Or it got me, I don't know, it was like
Just in your
touching.
field.
Yeah, it got
Yeah.
me in my feels. And what else? Oh, well, Jeff. Jeff has certainly surpassed Adam for me on this rewatch, especially with like the comments at brunch. I mean, I just think, in terms of Jeff versus cheesesteaks, Jeff wins,
A
you know?
100%. Ooh.
So,
Listen, Jeff can get it, okay?
yes, correct. Yes.
Man,
Let
I'm
me check
into
my
Jeff.
notes. Yes, correct. Correct.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes. Actually, I have it down here, in one of the things that we're gonna talk about in full caps that Jeff can
Yes, I
get.
think I
So,
do too.
yeah, so, I mean, I think that's a given, and I've said it before, but I am so into Jeff on this rewatch that, like, I I guess it's different because we know how it plays out with him. Like right now, we're like, what is he up to? Why is the inventory database
Right.
so I mean, obviously there's gonna be a different feeling after we know everything that happens throughout season 1 with Jeff. But even aside from that, just trying to stay in the moment of this episode or like these prior episodes and then this one, I'm so obsessed with this character. I mean,
Mhm.
I am like, you can steal me an armoire any day of the week. Jeff.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll return it for an exchange because I just want to see you again, and then I will keep coming back. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna rack up the store credit like those TJ
correct.
Bucks. Okay.
It's so true. Like, I totally forgot that he made these comments sort of in defense of Shauna, and it was just like, okay, there's the cream your jeans moment.
uh,
Like,
listen, I had on some surprise. I had on some leggings, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I got a tingle. I got
oh,
a tingle."
got that tangle.
And I'm not ashamed to say it either.
No,
Jeff,
that,
if you're
yeah.
listening and
Can
watching,
you imagine?
hit us up, okay?
Please.
We have some leggings we
Good
wanna mail you.
Lord. Good Lord.
We have some fan mail for you.
Ooh.
So gross.
Oh, can you imagine if he listened and watched? How embarrassing.
Not
But
embarrassed.
no?
Look into
Okay.
my eyes. I'm here. Hit me up. No, just kidding. Okay. All right. Sorry, I totally hijacked your overall thoughts there. I'm so
No, no,
sorry.
no, no. That was pretty much it. I think the only other thing I wanted to say was like, yet again, Misty proves to be one of the most terrifying people in this show, at least. But yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, I really loved Missy. I mean, young and adult Missy. I'm loving her even more. And I am so glad that it's Christina Ricci that is adult Misty, because I just don't think there is anyone that could pull off adult Misty Quigley like Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
There is just, she's mesmerizing. I mean, I love her anyway. I love everything that she's ever been in. She's a huge, like, I'm a huge fan of hers. But I was especially watching her like in that last or almost last scene with the pills and everything. And I was like, there is just no one that would do this justice like Christina Ricci. So I mean,
Yeah.
oh, hats off to her.
Yeah, she somehow does this thing where she's smiling, but it's so sinister. And I don't know if she
Right.
just had a lot of practice when she has to do
Was
that really sinister smile in the Addams Family. I think it's in the second one, actually. But
yeah.
just from having to do that weird, demented smile, and it works so well here. It's not exactly the same as Wednesday's smile, but it's got shades.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And for my overall thoughts, I mean, I'm in total agreement with everything that you said. This was a very, and we'll obviously get into more detail about this later, but this was a very, I don't want to say it was hard for me to watch, but
Mm.
it really got me. I mean, there were moments where I thought I was going to cry, and it really was around Shauna and Tai, and we'll get to
Oh, I
that.
for sure was crying.
But I was just like, this is such an amazing show. Duh, we know that. But like just the way that they take certain themes and certain situations, and it's so human. And how you think about these being like 17, 18-year-old, seniors in high school, and everything that they've been through, and then they've got all this other stuff on top of it. I mean, the scene with Ty and Van, I mean, I was I was almost in tears at that too, where I just was like, shit, this is so, I loved this episode. It's just, every episode is I'm gonna say this for everyone, I'm gonna love them all. I mean, there are some that are more favorites of mine than others, but this one was just really, really good. I mean, the character development, Jeff and the brunch and Jackie's parents and all of that, like, it was just so well done.
Yeah,
I
there's a
just
lot.
loved it.
There's a lot to love. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know Lottie was first on our list, but since we just were kind of talking about well, I guess we are kind of talking about it all. So fuck it. Let's just start with Lottie. I was gonna say we should
Okay.
skip the brunch, but nah, whatever.
Let's do Lottie. Let's do
Let's
Lottie.
Lottie. Yes.
Oh my god, let's Lottie.
Let's
I love
Lottie.
it.
So this like opening scene. What I want, like, I'm gonna say a bunch of words that are basically to the point of, if it turns out that there isn't anything supernatural, I think this scene is wasteful and um too much of a red herring in that case, or something, or too much of a diversion, or a word that I can't think of in this moment. But
Sure.
so for me, it's like it feels very purposeful and pointed that this is the memory that we get of Lottie's childhood, because I think in real life, RIL, we have the luxury of seeing a bigger picture of something. So like we could have, like, let's say it was me. I have this memory of being in the car with my parents one day, and all of a sudden I just started screaming. And, it turned out to be quite ominous because a car crash happened almost immediately afterwards. But I also know that like 3 days prior to that, I also just started screaming in my bedroom and nothing happened after that. Or like a week later, I started screaming and it was connected to nothing. But like we don't see like a montage of Lottie screaming at a bunch of stuff. What we get is this moment. And so like I feel like, why do we see that if it's not being set up that she does have some sort of clairvoyance, sight of some sort?
Yeah.
It's going to be annoying to me is basically what I'm getting at. Now, the only thing that I think acts as a possible counterpoint is the parents' reaction. Like her dad being so pushy about her going to some sort of therapy. But I can't trust the dad because so far he's been built up to be very absent, right? Like he's not there in the montage where we see them all getting ready for the trip. The only way he shows his love is by buying stuff for Lottie.
Yeah.
And in the car, the parents' first reaction was to be like, "Oh my God, stop, be quiet." It wasn't, "Oh my God, what's wrong with our child? Let us console her."
Mhm.
So I don't know. Point being, this is supernatural shit.
Yeah, so what I wrote down, and I don't know if I don't know if I've said this before, so if I have, I'm so sorry to repeat myself. I definitely think Lottie has the shine, which is, I mean, I
Right.
that's what I call it. Just, I
Sure.
mean, obviously, I'm tainted by Stephen King, but there's so much there, and especially because, like with The Shine or like in The Shining, that can be that superpower, that supernatural part of that person can be dulled by substances. So
Right.
like in The Shining, or like well in Doctor Sleep, we see um Danny is an alcoholic, but he's an alcoholic because he's trying to dull his shine. He doesn't want all of this happening to
Yes.
him. So
Yes.
the same can be said for Lottie once they put her on prescription medication, like a substance will dull that shine in someone. So not to be too like everything is connected to Stephen King all the time because I'm sorry, like y'all should know me by now. But rewatching this and really putting myself in that, I was like, she's got the shine, especially later on when she sees the stag with the bloody antlers. And then she's obviously, when she finds Tai outside, like there's something inside of her that
Or
is
the
drawn.
baptism, like
Well,
whatever
right.
vision she has during that. Yeah.
There's something drawn to her in a supernatural, like she can see things either before they're happening or as they're happening, because I mean like when she woke up to go out there and see Tai eating the dirt, like something woke her up to go out there,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yes.
when she was walking out, like you could hear all the vocalizing, you could hear all of that, and it's like
Mhm.
there's something. And I'm with you, if they I am gonna be super pissed. I'm talking about super, like, American Horror Story pissed if they try to pull anything that this is not, uh, a super power or, like, a sixth sense that Lottie is tuned into, because I can't I can't accept that it's too coincidental. I'm not going to accept that.
And that's my thing, is that I think we're afforded that in real life to have these major coincidences because we do have that bigger picture. But when you're telling a story through television, you can only show so many scenes. So, you know, like that's what we have to take as gospel, quote unquote. And like that's what we're being given. So, and I think I've said this before, but if it turns out that there are things that are coincidence or that are as a result of being stranded in the woods and getting some sort of cabin fever, that's also okay. But
Sure.
I think both can exist within this world.
I agree. I agree 100%. Like, I don't know what's going on with Tai, and I'm super curious because, as we get, and I know we'll talk about Tai, but I feel like that's something slightly different than what we're seeing with Lottie. And so, yes, two things can exist at once. She's no longer taking her medication. She's out of her medication, which means that shine, if you will, is no longer dulled. And then you're also going through a very traumatic experience. You don't know if you're going to eat. I mean, like, there's
Yeah.
so many factors in this, which could amplify the stress, obviously, and the fear and everything, which could also amplify this clairvoyance or this sixth sense that Lottie has as
True.
well. And she's searching for something. I mean, she sought out Laura Lee to try to figure out, like, what is this? And of course, that goes down the path of faith, religion, all of that, which, you know, whatever, that is what it is. But I don't think that it's I don't think it's religious in any way. I think that she's finally, like, that ability that she has is coming through, and she's just in a spot now where she's gonna have to deal with it, right? It's not
Right.
gonna be dulled anymore by
Yeah.
medication.
Right. And I don't fault her for going to Laura Lee, even though I also don't believe it's a religious thing, but it's like
Right.
who else there was going to
Not think she's
believe
crazy.
anything she was saying? Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Um and I did like that it wasn't Laura Lee obviously didn't like the seance thing, but I like that she didn't, cast her friend aside and say like, "Oh, that's like devil shit," or whatever. Like, it was
Right.
nice that she just sort of embraced her. You hope that that's what religious people will do, right? Like,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
give them some sort of guidance. I wanna talk more about the baptism, but before we move on, that part where Lottie wakes up to go outside and, well, whatever she was feeling like she needed to do, total foreshadowing as she stands up to get the lantern and she's framed with the antlers
Yes,
behind her. That's a
yes.
beautiful moment.
I
So
loved
good.
it. I paused it on that, and I was like, "Yes," like, I got
Yeah.
chilly bumps and everything, and I was like, "This is fantastic."
Yes, so good. But yeah, so the baptism, we'll talk about foreshadowing. I mean, there's obviously more shadowing here with Laura Lee and that like bright burst of light that
Yep.
basically engulfs Laura Lee's head. I mean, we all
Ugh.
know what that is about, but what do we think? Like, what is this underground, like, tunnel-y place? What the fuck is this?
You know, I don't know, and I'm okay with not
Sure.
knowing, but
Yeah.
yeah, like, it's I don't know how I honestly don't know how to put it into words. Like, was she then having a vision? Because she's being dunked underwater. I mean, Laura Lee just gave her all of that, religious spiel about visionaries and all of that stuff. So, is that in her head? And then she has this vision. There's this stag down there. I don't know, but it's just very interesting. And I actually want to see more. Like, was that like a glimpse into Lottie's head in some way? Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, was that the plane? The like the I want to say spiritual plane, but you know what I mean, like the
Mm.
supernatural plane
Yeah.
that's like in her head, right? And she's having this moment where Laura Lee's baptizing her or whatever. So like, did that trigger that in her mind for her to go to this plane in her head where, yeah, I mean, and it's not like there's a lot down there. To me, it was, like, very Freddy Krueger-ish almost, where it was like
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I mean, like, but the stag was down there and everything like
Mhm.
that. So it's like, was this a premonition? Was it that plane in her mind where these premonitions come from? Like, or were we getting a glimpse into that? I don't
Oh, interesting. I like that. Yeah. The only thing I could make of it, and this doesn't really mean anything, is that all the candles, it just felt altar like to me.
Yeah.
and just building towards the place that we're going to get to in terms of like sacrificing and making offerings. And you go to that altar and you light those candles, and you don't let them burn for an hour on a live video, but you use them in part of your rituals and your practices. And
Mhm.
so I like this idea that it's a glimpse into her sort of whatever is going on there,
Sure.
spiritually, psychically. Yeah.
And also, I mean, like, you do that when you're going to pray about something in church too. Like, they
Mhm.
always have the altar of candles, and you light one for what you're, going to pray about or whatever you're in there to do. So it's a duality of that, because that's also what Laura Lee, is explaining to her. So yes, there's that aspect, but there's the aspect that I feel more connected to what you're just saying, is the altar and the ritual and all of that, because that comes through a lot more in the later episodes than it being something quote unquote religious.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool scene though, and it was very interesting how it was not juxtaposed, but I guess it just sort of followed the attempted abortion scene. There was
Right.
just something really, I don't know exactly if they were trying to say anything with that, but those two scenes back to back definitely held a lot of weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Mhm.
The last thing I want to say about the Lottie stuff kind of has a connection to Ty in the present day, but I don't want to jump ahead if you're not done
Oh, no,
with.
yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. So I don't know what this is, and it feels like there's an echo between the opening scene and the scene where Ty is driving with, is her wife's name Simone and it's
Yes.
Sammy?
Mhm.
And it's like one of those Twin Peaks weird distorted echoes that like you don't really know what the connection is, but you know that there's something there. Like it's there's like enough imagery or like themes that are the same that they feel like they're meant to be together, but you're just not sure how. But I
Right.
mean, like that scene where they're in the car, they've got the one parent that, I mean, in this case, it's reversed. We have one parent that's like sort of really resistant to their child having any sort of therapy or whatever, which is Ty. Um, or I guess not reverse, because actually it was Lottie's dad that was driving. And no, so then it would be the reverse. Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
What I'm
you're
trying to say is it's like it's this family situation with a child that is not getting enough attention. Uh, you know, Ty doesn't witness a crash, but she almost crashes into a biker.
Mhm.
It I just don't know. And like, am I supposed to be, there's a part of me that's like, am I supposed to feel some kind of way about Ty because she is sort of in the same position as Lottie's dad, being so resistant to like what Sammy actually needs?
Right.
I don't know. Do you see that sort of weird warped
I
connection that I'm
do.
making?
I do, and it's a bit, the word I wanna say is hypocritical, but I don't know enough about what Ty's deal is yet.
Oh, yeah, right.
But it feels a bit hypocritical that she would be so, flippant about everything that the psychiatrist was saying, when she knows, on some level, that she's out there eating dirt and she's hanging out in trees. I mean, like, maybe, but see, and that's the whole thing, because it really got me wondering, like, what is Sammy an echo of Ty in some way, because the psychiatrist mentions, like, the amnesia, or like the losing time, right? Which is what
Mhm.
I think is happening with Ty, because like when
Yes.
we don't see it when she's eating the dirt, but like when she's in the tree later and the text comes through, she it's like she has no idea what she's doing. So
Mhm.
there's a correlation there, but it's so hypocritical, because Ty has to be aware that she's suffering the same thing that Sammy is, in some ways we're starting to see, you know, grappling with as well. You know what I
I mean,
mean?
I don't even know if Sammy is I don't even know if Sammy is actually responsible, quote unquote, for any of this. Like
No, 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 right.
everything that's happened is actually Ty.
Right, right.
So,
I
but they
mean,
don't know that. They don't
right.
realize that.
Yeah.
Right. So, anyways, it is just a weird correspondence that I just never
Mhm.
really noticed before, but
Yeah,
yeah. So,
I'm with you.
anyways. All right. Well, are you hungry? Should we have some brunch?
Oh, I am starving, darling, for some tuna quiche.
Well, it's the best one around.
I'm
It
sorry, but
sounds disgusting.
there is nothing that will turn my stomach more than hearing the words tuna quiche. I was like, "What the fuck?
No.
No."
And I was trying to think like, okay, is it just because I wouldn't actually eat that? But
I don't
God,
eat tuna.
as a kid, oh my God, as a kid, I loved tuna casserole. Like that was my thing. I loved tuna and cheese and noodles. It was the best shit in the whole world. And that's not really a quiche, but like it's not
Right.
like I've never liked tuna or I mean,
I've
I also used to
never
like eggs, but like yeah.
I've never liked tuna, and I don't know what it is, like, we ate so my mother made so many salmon patties. I don't know if you're aware of what that is, but it's basically like salmon burgers or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like to this day, if I see salmon, I'm like, whoa. But there was like, but she and my dad and then Scott too, like they love tuna, and I'm like, I can't even look at it. I'm talking about like
That's
in a
fair.
package or
That's
anything.
fair.
I'm like, oh no.
Well, I mean, same for me now. I ate so much of it that I think I sort of became part tuna and then was not like couldn't eat any more of it because I was like this cannibalism,
You
like
were the
so.
chicken of the sea, sweetie.
Oh, I'm sad that some people watching this won't know what that means, but look it up. Look it up, kids.
Look it up, kids.
Okay, like this brunch is so awkward and Jackie's mom sucks, the big one. Like she I I was trying to exercise some empathy for this woman because I know that she has, been through it, but it feels like this is the same situation, same story every year. Like it is like when you go to visit that relative that asks you the same 10 questions because they're getting older or they don't really have much else to say or whatever it is, but it's like you can't be this passive aggressive. All like you have to get over this at some point. And like
Well, and
even that seems harsh to say, but it's like you can't be like this.
but it's
Come on.
odd because it's like if you harbor that much resentment or whatever, why are you having a yearly brunch with Shauna and Jeff? I don't
Like to keep up appearances or something? I don't know. And
it's so
but
weird.
Jackie's mom is so like out of it because let's face it, Jackie is indifferent towards rabbits at best.
Yeah.
She clearly does not love the creature and I don't think she hates it, but it's certainly not the relationship that her mother thinks she has with them.
No, and I literally laughed out loud when Shauna opened that and Jeff was like, "Oh, it has little babies. How
I
cute."
know.
I
Jeff was
was
trying to
like,
be so kind.
"Oh my
Like
god."
good on him, but
But yeah, Miss Jackie, Jackie's mom, she can eat a bag of dicks as far as I'm concerned. Like I hated it the first time around and I absolutely like the bile was rising up from my like into my throat at this
yeah.
woman. And I
Yeah.
wanted to be like, I don't give a shit. Like it's so many years later, but like there why would you
What?
talk
Yes.
that way
Yeah.
to Shauna, like Jeff, whatever, but like Shauna, I mean, that's just the weirdest. Whatever, and it's obvious that she didn't know about Shauna and Jeff's real relationship until Jeff dropped the bomb on him, which I was like,
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Jeff. Like the look on her face, I was like, thank you, thank you. But I mean,
I
like,
mean, I
oh,
think that's part of what makes it so rewarding to hear Jeff say those things. Like not only is he just doing right by Shauna and that's endearing in itself, but just to kind of shut this woman up, right? And just be like,
put her in her
listen,
place.
here's what it is. Like Shauna is very intelligent. She's a fantastic woman. And by the way, like we were fucking before Jackie died. So like,
I
you
mean, I
know,
never, he should have said, I never had sex with Jackie. Okay.
well, fair. Yeah, I never even fucked your daughter, man. Okay? So how about
I just
that?
gave her some sandpaper, just did a little sandpaper, finger banging with her.
I tried to finger her. It didn't go well. Ugh.
It wasn't the best. So,
No.
I mean, no, but I
Shauna
don't
taught me everything I know.
uh, and all I can think of is that she's sitting there like with her vibrator. So I'm like, Jeff has obviously not gotten much better at some things. Bless his
Yeah,
heart. He can
yeah.
get it, but he needs to be taught it first. So, um yeah, I if it weren't for Jeff's redemption of Shauna and the glimpse of young Shauna and Jackie
Yeah.
with, with the notebook and all of that, I would have really hated like all of this. Like
Mhm.
thankfully we did get those two things because outside of that, I was like, you know, fuck this. Like I wouldn't go back. And
I
like you said,
know.
something tells me this is every year. It's the
Oh,
same
yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know that she has all of those little rabbit figurines just built up from however many brunches they've had to stomach over the years, but I guess it's really sweet that they do this. I feel like this is the last brunch probably just because so much has now come to light. So I'll be interested to see if they get invited back, but
Let's see if we have a brunch in season 2. Um,
yes, with that scene in Jackie's bedroom, which okay. On first watch, why did this not convince us that Jackie wasn't coming back? Like, is it because Jackie's room was untouched that we're like, oh, Jackie's parents are still holding out hope, maybe? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
and Shauna even says, like, Jackie was my best friend.
Yeah.
And I guess the past tense would work even if Jackie just like fucked off and never came home or something, but like, it's there. We should have
It
known.
is, it is. I mean, I can recall being just so obsessed with those notebooks,
Mhm.
and I was like, "There's something," like, she stayed in
Right.
the woods, but
There's a clue.
yeah, I mean, all of that was just not what I thought it was, but I will tell you this, I thought of you immediately because as she was flipping through that notebook and they did the mash, I was like, "Oh my god.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yes.
god."
Okay, so I don't know if this will come up on the camera. No. Oh,
Yeah, a little bit.
Jeff can
Yeah, I see. I saw it in all
Jeff
caps.
can get
Just
it
did it
all
all
day
day.
and all night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to show you mine because it says, "Fuck Jackie's parents, but Jeff can get it."
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
trust you. It's just I just
Yeah.
found it and I was like, this is too funny that we would both caps lock this. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so the MASH thing though, I was like, "Oh,"
Yes.
and see that I think that also brought me a little more it grounded me a little more too in the age of these girls. I mean,
Mm.
I don't know if they were doing MASH, like, right before they went to nationals or if this was, like, a couple
Right.
of years prior or whatever it may be. But nonetheless, I mean, I think I've said this before, I believe in MASH because I did MASH my freshman year of college, and it said I was gonna marry Scott, and guess what? I did 5 years later.
Well, hello.
It's so
Hello.
stupid. But, no, but I mean, just the innocence and, like, the top 10s, like, all of that, I don't know, it just gave me such it pained me because everything was just, taken away from them when this happened,
I
and all
know.
of the secrets that we know Jackie, I mean, like, the things after Jackie passes away well, sorry, I mean,
Well, I already
Jackie
said she's dead, so
yeah, so, I don't know, it's like it's bittersweet, I guess, is what I'm trying to think about because you
it
just see them
is.
on that bed, like, just being teenage girls, and they were forced to grow up in such a weird way so quickly when this happened that I don't know.
Well, and it's nice to see them giggling and having so much fun together and because like we know that they're friends, but really since we met them, things have been a little difficult within their friendship. So
Yeah.
it was nice to see that whatever their friendship was like before that was like, it was genuine and there was love there. And then adult Shauna, there's Melanie Linsky is so good. I mean, she just conveyed so much just in the way of just the way her eyes looked as she was imagining herself and Jackie there on the bed. And I mean, obviously the Jackie that she sees that says, actually, bitch, it is your fault,
Yeah.
is her own mind. And so,
Right.
you know, she's still really guilting herself and still really feels a lot of pain around this. And I mean, how could you not? But it's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Oh,
Mama feels.
me too. Me too.
Well, before we dive into the heavy stuff, maybe we should just say that if you're enjoying this episode, we would very much appreciate you rating and reviewing us on your favorite podcast platform. You can dangle and sprinkle those stars. We love 5, but we'll take however many you have.
Buzz them our way. Buzz, buzz.
Sure.
I don't know if
That wasn't a buzz. I don't know why I did that as if that was a buzz sound. Buzz,
You
buzz, 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 buzz.
Oh, I like that. Well, and if you want more of these types of things, you can also find us on Instagram at Damn Fine TV. I am at Superficial Mells.
And I am at Damn Fine Witch. And you can also, like we said, you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/damnfinetv. By the time this comes out, I don't remember when it comes out, so I don't know what's going on. But there's, we recently started doing these trailer videos where we look at trailers for TV and horror movies that are coming out in the month ahead. We are doing, probably when this comes out, we're still doing it. We're doing a Scream rewatch. And so the trailer videos are actually exclusive to Patreon, as will the trailer video for Yellowjackets. That will be too. And then the Scream videos, they'll be out on YouTube, but you get really early access if you're on Patreon. So
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, now we got to get to said heavy stuff.
Yeah.
There's obviously the chicken in the room.
Boy, the chicken baby. Listen.
I mean, sorry, but if they don't eat that baby, then what is this scene for? Because this, to me, I was like, these people are eating this baby.
I mean, honestly, I was like, is this foreshadowing? Because it's not the first dream she's had about giving birth to. I know she's hungry, but I mean, like Tai was like, was it a cheeseburger baby? And I'm like, it's
Oh,
probably,
right.
yeah,
So
it
she's
probably
had this
will
dream
be.
before,
Yeah.
right? Oh, it probably will be.
Oh my God. I mean,
Yeah. She's clearly been having dreams like this, and I'm sure it's because she's stranded in a forest somewhere and is probably craving all of these foods too. So it was a perfect dream because it mixes all of those weird subconscious things too, right? Like she's terrified of having this baby, but she's also so fucking hungry. Like it made a lot of sense, but
yeah.
I think it foreshadows cannibalism.
I mean, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna hate it if it turns out to be that way. But
No,
anyway.
I can't. I honestly can't fault them. They're stranded in the woods with no food. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
as we can see
mean,
in this episode, they're starting to run out of berries. Like the gatherers have nothing left to gather. The hunters are bringing home maggot-filled
so
deers.
gross.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the first time I started crying was when, Shauna started talking about how she heard that some other girl tried it with a wire hanger or whatever. And I mean, it's not that it didn't hit on the first watch, but since then, and even though I live in Canada, it doesn't matter. We've had the striking down of Roe v. Wade, and so it just hits different. I mean, it's not like abortion has ever been super peachy keen and totally safe and accessible and
Right.
it is totally safe at a doctor. Like, let me not get that twisted, but like it just makes me so sad that anybody ever has to think about doing it this way. Of course, she doesn't have a doctor, but still.
Right. Well, I don't know though. Miss C. Quigley, OBGYN, had a great no, I had to lighten it up a little bit with that. But
For sure.
I like Scott walked in when I was watching the episode, like right when this was happening. And I mean, like, I was like crying and I had like my hand over my mouth and he was like, what is going on? And I was like, I don't I was like, and like you just said, I don't know if it's because of everything that's happened, um,
Mhm. Yeah.
in the meantime of when this aired, but it gutted me. It
Mhm.
truly gutted me. And the the fear, how scared she was, and I mean, and Tai, like, running to her and saying, "You don't have to do like, you don't have to do this alone, like, I let me help," or, like, whatever, and just that whole I like, right now okay, I'm trying to keep it together, to be honest, because it was just there's oh god, I mean, they're sleeping up in the attic together, right? So, like, they're obviously bonding, and just that moment of Tai telling her, "You
Yes.
don't have to be alone,"
Yep.
like, that got and it's Tai, not Jackie, and we all know why it's not Jackie, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, that moment between the 2 of them, I was like and they're both harboring because, I mean, I like, Van
Right.
and Tai are not out together yet, so, I mean,
Yep.
they're both harboring something within themselves from the rest of the group, and it was just one of those moments where gosh, it made me queasy, I'm not gonna lie, because I was just like, "I can't" like, there's not
Totally. Like, I
when I
mean,
was that
the
age, I could not I was thinking back to their age, and I'm like, I would be scared shitless to try to help, like, a friend do something like this, you know what I
terrified.
mean?
And, like, how I wrote, like, how do they even know what they're doing? There's no Google. Like, oh my
God,
god,
I
okay.
know.
I'm just gonna interrupt for 1 second to say, if you hear some loud thudding, it is upstairs, my neighbor's place. If you hear some groaning, it is my
Oh,
dog who has been groaning, like, nonstop throughout this recording, so my apologies.
she's loving the content. She's loving the
Well, no, I
content.
think she's hating it because she's groaning. She's like, "Oh my god, she's going on about this again."
Not this again. Well, if I
Um,
can't hear anything,
okay,
so
good, good. Well, hopefully the mic's not picking it up, but, yeah, I'll just they don't have Google, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, even today, if I had step-by-step instructions, it would still be terrifying, but they're out in the woods just trying to do something with the underwire of a bra, and I love this show for making me feel one way about a character one episode and a completely different way about that character in the next episode, and having that not be, um whiplash inducing because it actually all just feels very organic and real, and
yes.
like these characters have all these different sides to them. Like, I sometimes struggle with Tai, but in this episode I was like, okay, when she found out in the first place that this was Jeff's kid, she just got all the tea and was like so calm and was like, okay, but that doesn't mean that you need to, like, it's not worth dying, like.
Right.
And she was just there for Shauna. And then in the next moment, like the way that she races to find Shauna and then hops over that log and is just like, if you're going to do this, you're not going to be alone. I'm going to be here. I can help you through this. And the way that they cry in that moment, I mean, like those actresses just fucking nailed that moment. I mean, I loved Tai in this episode, just her ability to show up for this person regardless of how she felt about the situation. She was just there for that person. I loved
Yes.
it.
Yeah. And, the thing about Tai, she's and I know we don't have but I mean, like, okay, what I'm about to say, like, when you see, like, Mari or, like, the others and the way that they're, like, ribbing, like, Travis and Nat or the way that they're, like, complaining about things, whatever. Like, Tai is in this moment, and I feel like I'm starting to feel this more out for young Tai. She's so genuine and she's so, like, non-judgmental. And I don't know if it's because she's, like, having a relationship with Van, so, like, I don't know if that influences, like, how she deals with other situations, right? But it's like I mentioned in the episode that we did with Coral from Wholesome Peaks, Jackie is like and Coral made a great point, like, Jackie is like the senior manager and Ty's like the person that does, like all of the but does all the work that the manager gets the recognition
Oh,
for.
yes. Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel this right here because I'm sitting here thinking like it's Ty and it's like, you know, out of all the people out there, like I just said, you think it would be Jackie, but obviously we can't tell Jackie about this yet.
Right.
But I mean, Tai just steps right up and
Yeah.
she's there for Shauna and in a really dark moment for her. And it's just like, oh God, I loved it. It was so
Mhm.
heavy, but it was so beautiful at the same time.
And I mean, I guess they had started to get close in the last episode, right when Shauna joins Ty upstairs. But these scenes then make, the scenes in the present day, those hit really differently now because you get to start to see the past that these two women have. And then you can think back to, I think it was in the first episode when they meet at the diner and like one of them, I think it's Shauna, reaches out and touches Ty's hand, or maybe it's vice versa. But even that through the lens of knowing this thing that they went through, like, I don't know, I feel like those two are the real best friends or something. But
Honestly,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So and then I wrote, I'm just so grateful towards Ty and I just want to hug them.
I know. I
These are the
know.
emotional, sappy notes that I sometimes write.
I mean, really, it was a very heartbreaking and scary scene, but it was a
Yes.
very heartwarming at the same time, you know?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Well, what else? So I guess we're gonna talk about like Ty, Misty, and Nat in the present day, kind of all at the same time. I don't know that I have much to say, honestly, about any of these character apart from the fact that, like, I noticed that, Nat has her fishnets pulled up over her shirt,
I'm glad you're mentioning this
and
because
I'm
I
confused by
I too
this
was very confused.
because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but the jacket and the glasses that she's wearing feel really not really posh, but they feel quite posh. And then the fishnets over the shirt, I don't know. Is she grungy chic? I mean, no shade. I just don't know what's happening.
She's a rebel. I
That
guess that's
there you go. There you go.
I mean, she's gonna let those fishnets fly, baby. That's all I can
I mean, it's working for her. Everything that she's
sure.
doing is working for her. I just don't know that I've ever seen somebody bring these elements together quite in the same way.
And I honestly, like, the fishnets, that's her staple because
True.
she's just I mean, she's danced around her little, so extended stay room in her fishnets. Now she's wearing them to get rid of her portion to the kids' soccer game. I'm like, "You know what? I
Yeah.
mean,
Do
I
you?
couldn't pull it off, but Nat can, I guess."
I mean, I
So
think I'm gonna try, honestly. I have denim shorts, I have fishnets. I don't have quite the same jacket, but I think I could just do a leather jacket.
oh, Halloween costume.
Uh-oh, here we go. It's always Halloween somewhere in my
But
heart.
just tuck your shirt into your fishnets and you'll
Well,
be good to go.
correct. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'll be, I mean, that's the thing that will make sure everybody knows who I'm being, is the
Right.
Tecton shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Um, to be more serious though, when
Yeah.
she is at that soccer game, I felt like I've I have I was gonna say I've been judgmental. I don't think it's judgmental. I've had a hard time like getting on board with adult Natalie. I feel a little softer towards her in this episode because you see like there's like a nice flicker of joy in her
Yeah.
eyes when she's at that soccer game, or there's this like melting of a facade. Like she just feels really genuine and kind of happy in that moment to be giving the kid advice. And then it's sad a couple minutes later when I feel like she sort of snaps to and like realizes where she is and kind of puts up those walls again.
I know. I know. Yeah, I mean, like, she was so happy that her advice to Mace, like, paid
Yeah.
off, and it was so sweet. And then, yeah, but then it was very sad because I mean, Juliette Lewis, like, we talk about, I mean, facial acting. I mean, she's phenomenal at it, like, in everything that she's ever been in. I love her. But she did such a great job of, like, it just washed right over
Oh,
her
yeah.
face, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I even felt like you could see it flicker in her eyes almost,
Mhm.
like, this, as the walls went back up, right? And it made me sad
Yeah.
because, you know, yeah, like a lot of shit's going on in their adult lives right now. They're being blackmailed and she's got to get the money, but also like maybe she felt like she was young again in that moment, right? Like on the
Yes.
soccer field and like having a great time, and it's
Carefree.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Before she ever got lost in the woods for 18 months or whatever.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So that is sad. And I guess to stay on Natalie, is there like an animosity between Nat and Shauna as adults that I'm not remembering?
Well,
Because it felt heated.
it felt heated for sure, and I didn't catch it the first time around, but so I don't, it makes me wonder what's going to progress in the woods and what side Nat's going to be on and what side Shauna's going to be on, because yeah,
Right.
there's definitely something, and it's very interesting, the dynamics, because obviously Tai has been helping her with rehab. Ty's been helping her with all of these things. So like, what has transpired in the past that
Yeah.
there's not that same type of something with Shauna? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's curious.
It is. And I suppose, like, I don't know if we're downplaying it. I guess it is a big moment to see. It's the first time we see the three of them together as adults. So that is a
Yeah,
big moment.
that's true.
I am curious why they're not more curious why Shauna didn't get a postcard or a blackmail text. It feels like that should be something that they stick on more. Like, we
I
know
agree.
why she didn't get them,
And
but
I cannot wait for this. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
I
thought it was gonna
cannot
happen
fucking
in
wait.
this episode,
I
and I was
I
so
did too.
excited. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, are we gonna get, but I I cannot wait for this. But
So
anyway,
good.
oh my god, it's gonna be so fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also like, yeah, Shauna's obviously confused as well. Like, well, I'm not, I didn't get this. And like, yeah, so they don't seem very bothered. Like, I don't know. Like, my first instinct would be like, because it's funny or it's peculiar because Nat assumed off the bat that it was Missy doing it, right? But
Yep.
now that she's with Shauna and Shauna's like, I didn't get any, like, there was no there was nothing happening there where it was like, okay, so she was real quick to jump on Missy about it, but super nonchalant that Shauna's not,
Yeah, and I guess,
involved.
like, even given what we know about these girls, there's probably less reason for them to assume that Shauna would try something.
You're right. You're right.
Um, I could see Misty faking blackmailing them just to get them all in a room together to hang out, like
Reunion, best friends.
Um, but I still think it should have been a thread that they followed or pulled on a little more to be like, well, what does that mean that she's not getting these things? Like, even if Shauna's not behind it, why target just the three of us?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
maybe that was just a oversight in the writing because they obviously knew where it was going. But you know, anyways,
Again, I cannot wait for this to play out.
same, yeah.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. Oh man.
Anything else about these three? Like, I
I
feel like
don't
we touched on Ty eating dirt and
And then in the tree.
yeah,
Um,
I guess we could speculate, like, what's the blood on her hand? Is it her own blood? Is it a dog's blood?
I'm not gonna go there right now
Fair, fair.
until I am forced to deal with it, okay?
That's fair. That's fair. Rain
No,
check.
we could talk a little bit about Misty. Listen, let me tell you something. She is the cat's meow. She is just sitting there watching Kevin and, Nat
Yeah.
fool around
Crushing up those
while she is
pills.
crushing up mortar and pestle, okay? And the look on her face, I can't get enough of
Like it was a
Misty
regular
fucking
Tuesday
Quigley.
Evening.
Yes.
There's nothing weird about this Absolutely not.
And then are just, "Hi, Jessica." Yeah, I mean, it's just it's so great. It's so great. And then obviously, yeah, her jabbing her with that injection. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yes, okay,
Ooh.
Missy, let that scary side out, girl."
I mean, we think it's all fun and funny and whatever, like, when Misty's like, you should really watch your back," and or, like, at least Jessica thinks, like, "Oh, whatever, this girl is not intimidating me, whatever," but, like, she was way too trusting to get in that woman's car.
Way too. Way
Way too.
too.
Like, you'd think that Ty would have given her a bit of a heads up about this one. Like, watch out for Misty Quigley, you
Well,
know?
well, exactly. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. I love it. I can't wait
Oh,
for more of
same.
Misty too.
Yeah. I feel like we're at the last 4 episodes, right? Like, there's so much that's about to go
So much.
down. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so excited for it.
I think the only other thing that we haven't really talked about is Nat and Travis in '96,
Yeah.
and that that stack of dong bags that Ben gave to Travis. Like, what was that man gonna be doing for a week in Seattle? Like, did he not have a job to do?
He Let me tell you something. He wasn't there for nationals, okay?
No, mm-mm. He
He
he did
was
not give a shit.
he was there for sexy time,
Yeah, he
okay?
was going to his own nationals, and
Oh,
it was
yeah. He had his own
a
competition in
different type of
mind.
competition.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it though because well, when I say I love it, like that scene between Ben and Travis, it was really wholesome because Ben was, like really having a serious talk with Travis, right? But then the humor in all of those, you know, condoms falling out. I was like, this is just the perfect way to lighten like
Yeah.
this talk and yeah, they do a great job with that in this show. We've obviously talked about it, but and then when it oh gosh, and then when it falls out, well, then it falls out of Travis's pants when, he's with Natalie, and I'm like, "Can y'all not, like, just have a little Velcro inside of your pocket where you just stick it in there? Because I don't think y'all need to be just running around with condoms flying out everywhere, okay?"
Well, and not only that, but it's like, can you guys find a different place to fool around? This is disgusting.
It's now that's just too much. The
It's
death trap.
so
Yeah.
gross.
I'm like,
Like, there's
"How could you?"
blood everywhere, and it's like, once or twice, okay, fine, maybe on Halloween, it's, like, fun for the thrill of it or whatever, but, like, please, you guys already don't have soap, like, just be more cleanly. Please.
Honestly,
I'm begging
okay.
you.
I think about these types of things when I'm watching shows that involve this. Like when they were making out, I was like, neither one of you have brushed your teeth in how long? And
They
that
haven't
is so
bathed, and they're
stupid, but
teenagers, so there's some stanky stuff.
I mean, honestly, I just God.
I really always think of Michael from The Center Cut when there's any show where it's, like, clear that people have not bathed and they're probably sweating and smelling because I can just feel his skin crawling as he's
Yes.
watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. But
Um
yeah.
But I did say I loved Natalie's reaction. This was great. Like, the
She gave
double
it to
standard of it all of like, how come the guys can fool around and nobody cares? How come I can't fool around? Like, my vagina has a monologue. Thank you.
I
So,
love it.
but then his response, like I do feel for Travis because he's a virgin, he's a teenager, he's anxious and nervous about all of this stuff, and I did like that the show kind of wrapped up that issue and didn't make it a bigger like
Right.
sticking point for the two of them. It was just like, here's kind of an adult conversation, and they dealt with it and sorted it, and great. It's
I
over.
know, I know, and I mean, it's really fitting, I think, that it's Travis and Nat, because they seem a lot more mature
Mhm.
beyond their you know what I mean? And maybe from what they've been through, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if there's a mature conversation to be had of involving that because, like, when they come back with, the food, everybody's, like, ribbing or yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were, like, all ribbing them and stuff, and I was
Mhm.
like, so I mean, I know they're all kids and
Yeah.
immature, but I was like,
Yeah.
that's a mature conversation that, they had together, so
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're cute. They just need to find somewhere else to fuck. That's all.
Please. Oh, God. Please.
Well, I think that's all I've got.
Yeah, same.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, if that's all for this time, I've got a tree to perch in.
And I've got the world's most awkward brunch to get to.
Bye-bye.